Elizabeth South family has been forced out of their home after an out-of-control police car ploughed through a bedroom wall.
And I saw them come flying down this area, hit the gutter. Didn't look like they had their brakes on, and hit the gutter and then airborne into the window.
I think we've identified who was driving that police car. Have you seen the new 2019 model Supra? Looks pretty good. It's basically, what, a reshelled BMW? No, not that one. The real Supra. Toyota USA, they've announced that they're going to move the Supra into the NASCAR series. And it's actually a change from the Camry, so hopefully it'll be a bit quicker. Whoa! But aren't all stock cars meant to run even?
There's nothing stock about a stock car.
We've got some testing footage. Have a look at this for a unique car out of Brazil. It's a 5-litre 6-cylinder with a billet 24 valve head and block. They're running 95% methane, nitromethane. So is the head, is that like a bespoke item? It must be. So it's controlled by a fuel tech, but I mean a 5-litre 6, I'm not sure what engine it actually is, but very cool, very different. And it's not the typical 2JZ or a GTR engine. Or a Barra. Speaking of Barras, you know that cranky 6 in Queensland? It runs low 8s on the quarter. Here's a video of it making, what, a lazy 1400 plus horsepower. You hear the term on the internet a lot these days, just send it. Well, check this out. Have a look at this Muppet. He's got some sort of rickshaw service and he was just supposed to take a couple of people back to their car at the DFO into a car park and somehow accidentally took a wrong turn and ends up riding down the freeway. Yeah, and then apparently there was no turning back. Like, you can't see an on-ramp that's leading onto a freeway and go, oh, I know. Oh, this should be right. I think this is the right path to go. So here's a vid we did probably a few years ago now on how to pick an LS camshaft.
Today we'll be talking about our first group of camshafts, mainly used for auto with standard stall.
I didn't understand a word he said. These Aussies need to learn to speak English because that gibberish he was yakking is a real language barrier. Yakking.
But mate, all I had was me jocks on. I was chasing him up the street and I'm just like, mate.
Have you seen New South Wales have got record fines for speeding? I mean, it's hardly surprising, is it?
Total speed and red light camera revenue for the past year hit almost $193 million.
We're not addicted to the revenue. What we're addicted to is getting the message out there to people to be safer and better on our roads.
They're as bad as Victoria. Actually, Victoria's still worse.
Victorian drivers are being ripped off to the tune of $800 million for a government computer system that was never launched.
Speaking of Victoria, did you see Melbourne's fire chief got stung 7 times for speeding? 7 times? 7 times.
It's outrageous, egregious, preposterous.
Now, I believe the fire chief was so embarrassed he offered to resign. Well, speaking of resigning, well, losing his job actually, this bloke was he got caught driving the company van and deliberately, as if you haven't wanted to do this, deliberately swerving at puddles and drenching pedestrians. He got done.
Because the good news is you're fired.
Seen this bloke in the UK, he's crammed a VR38 stroked 4.1 litre engine. So that's a R35 GTR engine. He's put it in an Evo 8 or 9 shell. It's an incredible piece of machinery. And what's different I noticed about this one, he's actually kept the all-wheel drive system. So a lot of these different cars with, say, you have seen these R35 engines in other cars, generally they're rear-wheel drive. There's so many headaches getting So is it running the Nissan gearbox? No, it's running a Hollinger sequential, Australian 6-speed sequential, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So they can run it rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, whatever they want to do. And he set this car up for multi-events, so he can kind of do anything high speed.
Yeah, that'd be a weapon.
Take a look on the internet. It's one. There's a truckload of cash spent on that one. Look at this bloke. All the experts, after watching a 6-cylinder make, what, 1,200 horsepower, whatever it is. Laughing my ass off, an LS can make that much horsepower with 12 pounds. Just remind me about the engine size of an LS versus this 3-litre. This guy sounds a little bit triggered. Thumbs down for the Alex Jones clip.
Serious crap!
Last time I looked, it resembles no Mustang on the planet, and the motor ain't Ford. It's not a real Mustang? Oh, really? Yeah. It doesn't have Kragers on the back and a 302 under the bonnet? Or what? Yeah, I'm in shock. I thought that was a genuine McCoy real Mustang. This changes everything. I think going by the class, we see this a bit actually, comments about that's not a Mustang, that's not a real Camaro, that's a plastic car. And it's like, yeah, it's called drag racing. Okay, next time we'll put a video of some funny cars and we'll just say, we'll title it Red Car versus Blue Car. Now, I just got my Renault serviced. I thought, you know, sick of spending money on an old car, so I thought maybe I'll go and buy a new Renault. And they've got this new EV called a Zoe. Zoe. Sounds a bit feminine. Yeah, a bit feminine. It's basically 50 grand and it has no features. So for an EV car, and a small one, this thing actually looks, well, it looks better than a lot of other cars on the market. Well, being electric, the performance must be pretty good. Yeah, 0 to 100 in 14.5 seconds. 14? That's basically what mine runs on the quarter mile, and it's mind-boggling. If that's what you're going to offer people, no one is going to buy them. And Renault at the same time have just come out with a 300 horsepower, 1.8 litre turbo Megane for less money. Like, why would you buy the EV car over that? Because you're saving the world. Yeah. Speaking of unicorns and rainbows, I've noticed a few more renderings going around lately of a Mazda RX-9, and of course it's going to have a rotary engine, but I think until Mazda actually release some sort of prototype and it's legit, it's never going to happen. No way. Speaking of new cars, you see Subaru Japan have released a limited edition WRX STI, RAR, whatever they flame and call it. The thing's got 242 kilowatts, which is about 325 horsepower, from a 2-litre engine, whereas we, in Australia, still got the old, tired EJ25. Bigger engine, but it's about 45-year-old technology. I know it's got some add-ons and whatever, but at the end of the day, I don't know why they're still peddling that EJ engine. It's just old. You might get some hate mail if you keep up bagging those EJs. Yeah, I mean, compared to a Mitsubishi, actually, what do Mitsubishi sell? Yeah, actually, donuts. Rubbish. Small and big and mediums, every different size SUV, but nothing you'd even remotely want to go to the showrooms and buy. I mean, you see the rumour mill, they might be releasing like some sort of performance all-wheel drive SUV, and they're going to, which won't even happen. Put the Evo name on an SUV. It's just, it's a sad state that company's turned into. They once made, all through the 90s and early 2000s, you know, all the Evos and earlier performance models, and now look where they are. I know we've mentioned this before, but Mitsubishi is just not, just bland.